Since the start of Tensura, we've seen Rimuru evolve and grow from a slime to a slightly more attractive slime, no homo, all the way up to a demon lord, beings who are considered to be among the few who stand at the heights of strength, authority, and power in the world of Tensura. Well, except for this sad soul. But demon lords themselves, or even true demon lords, are not at the pinnacle of strength. Even when looking at stronger ones like Malim and Guy, there are still beings that stand above them, a race that you're very familiar with considering Malim herself originated from the direct ancestor of this race. And that race is the true dragons. These creatures stand at the pinnacle of strength, being known as catastrophe class creatures that no nation and even the most powerful of demon lords prefer not to mess with. Right now we know of 4 true dragons: Veldora the storm dragon, who you're probably most familiar with, Velzard the white ice dragon, Velgrin the scorch dragon, and then we have the Star King dragon, Veldanava, who created them all and is the god of the Tensura universe. However, there was a 5th true dragon that was eventually born, not through the power of the Star King, but a being born completely through rage, pain, and vengeance. And that was the void dragon Rimuru Tempest. But before we move along any further, we must understand what caused this evolution. Just as with his demon lord form, there was a specific reason for Rimuru's evolution. After we explore that, we can then move on to figuring out what this form truly is, what it means for Rimuru, and how strong it is. With that being said, this video is gonna have a ton of spoilers for the light novel of Tensura, so just keep that in mind. Now I won't go over every detail about the background of what happened, but we can go with the basics. This all came about when Rimuru was going through the biggest war that he had ever had to deal with, a war against the Eastern Empire, with Rimuru basically having to defeat over 900,000 soldiers and many other insurmountable odds. This was definitely no easy war that's even anything comparable to the war he had with Clayman or any other nation before this. However, defeating 900,000 soldiers was nowhere near the hardest part of this war. You see, in all this chaos, there was one specific goal Rimuru had in mind: to free his friend Veldora. Since the Emperor Rudra, who had his guardian dragon Velzard, had ended up stealing Veldora away from Rimuru and used him as a puppet, going as far as to damage the soul corridor between Veldora and Rimuru. And in this instance, for the first time, Rimuru felt pain, anger, rage, and a thirst for revenge. And in that moment, he didn't care about anything, his only goal being to destroy the enemy. He then summoned his demon forces, the Black Numbers, don't worry, you'll learn about them in some other video, and begins annihilating the enemy forces. Then Rimuru takes on both the controlled Veldora and Velzard, and naturally he's having an incredibly difficult time fighting 2 individuals who are both almost 4 times more powerful than he is. The battle was so intense that Raphael for the first time had made a mistake. But with Rimuru's reassurance and him naming her Ciel, she evolved from an ultimate skill with a voice to a Manus with an ego, a completely superior being in every way. With this, the battle against the 2 true dragons became much easier. Fast forward a bit, and during the battle against Michael, who controlled Emperor Rudra and Veldora, Rimuru needed a way to completely sever Michael's control over Veldora. He also wanted to save Velgrind, who had been tied to Rudra for centuries. But Rimuru, despite being a godlike being, was still technically a slime and a demon lord, meaning he had his limits. The true dragons like Veldora and Velgrind are the highest tier existence in the world, second only to the original creator, Veldanava. To truly surpass all threats, including Michael and any future enemies, he had to reach this level. After defeating Michael, Rimuru absorbed Veldora's spiritual essence into himself. But this wasn't just any normal absorption. Rimuru restructured Veldora's soul within himself, preventing Michael's control from ever returning. This created an even deeper connection between Rimuru and Veldora, allowing them to share their existence at a higher level. With that, one of Rimuru's ultimate skills, Azathoth, had evolved multiple times, but during this moment, he awakened a new level of existence: the Chaos Creator. This skill broke the boundaries between true dragons and other beings, allowing Rimuru to evolve past being just a slime or a demon lord. With the fusion of Veldora's essence and his evolution into the Chaos Creator, Rimuru underwent a fundamental transformation. His existence was rewritten into something completely new: thus becoming a true dragon. This new true dragon form was named Void God Azathoth, making him the 5th true dragon in the entire world. After becoming a true dragon, Rimuru's existence completely took a turn. For example, true dragons don't actually have a physical body in the traditional sense. They exist as pure energy and concepts. If you follow the names of them, Veldora embodies the concept of storm, Velzard represents the concept of flames, and so on. Rimuru's void concept, represented by the ultimate skill Void God Azathoth, is a profound and transcendent force that embodies nothingness itself. Unlike other true dragons whose concepts revolve around elemental forces like creation, ice, flame, and storm, Rimuru's concept represents the very absence of existence itself. A primordial power of potential and erasure. As a result, Rimuru had access to the unparalleled power of absolute reality manipulation, allowing him to create, destroy, and rewrite existence itself at will, gaining the power to erase concepts, objects, or beings from the very fabric of reality, effectively making them cease to exist across all timelines, dimensions, and histories. Rimuru is no longer bound by space or time. He exists beyond both of them, making him immune to time-based abilities and unaffected by conventional destruction, meaning that no attack, regardless of its power, can permanently harm him. Rimuru's void concept also enables him to create life, matter, and energy from absolutely nothing, allowing him to reshape the world or create new beings entirely much like creator god Veldanava did. Plus, with Beelzebub, Rimuru has the power to devour and erase anything, completely wiping them from existence with no possibility of recovery. All of this places him at the pinnacle of godlike beings. In comparison to other true dragons like Velzard, Velgrind, and Veldora, whose abilities are tied to elemental forces and have certain limitations, Rimuru's void concept represents an infinite potential for both creation and destruction, making him the most powerful and free entity in the entire world. This transformation into a void dragon is not just an evolution. It's a transcendent step that places him on a level that surpasses even the creator of the universe. Not to mention, I had also brushed over it before, but because Raphael evolved into a Manus CL, she got greater control over not just Rimuru's abilities, but reality itself. But there is one more detail that we need to look at. Despite the immense power Rimuru gains through his void concept and his integration with CL, there's a specific distinction that Rimuru himself emphasizes. Despite being a true dragon in name and power, he technically isn't really one. This was found out because in the traditional sense, true dragons are beings of absolute existence. They're tied to the fabric of creation and destruction, born with an absolute concept that defines their existence, whether it be fire, ice, or storms. Rimuru, on the other hand, is a slime that evolved into a true dragon. So while he has gained the abilities and power for true dragon, he does not possess the same inherent concept that true dragons like Veldora or Velzard were born with. Instead, Rimuru's power is rooted in absolute nothingness, which is paradoxically what makes him both the ultimate existence and the absence of all things. This contradiction is what leads Rimuru to state that while he has the powers of a true dragon, his existence doesn't fully align with what it means to be one. This distinction is important because while Rimuru's power is unmatched and his abilities are on par with godlike true dragons, he doesn't technically fall into the same existence category as they do. His existence is a representation of imperfect ascension, one that is driven more by circumstances. So, in a way, Rimuru is both a true dragon and not one. He exists as a being that moves past traditional definitions and limitations, made even more powerful by his partnership with CL. And when you look at all of this combined, Rimuru in his new form is completely unmatched by anyone else in the Tensura world, with few sensei even giving him the title Supreme Deity. At this point, he could traverse and create dimensions, recreate existence itself a million times over without even breaking a sweat. He could destroy multiple universes with just the flick of a wrist, far surpassing any other true dragon ever, including the creator himself, Veldanava. To emphasize this point even further, a while back I had made a video called Rimuru Runs the Isekai Gauntlet, both part 1 and part 2. You can go check those out after this is finished. And one of the characters I had put Rimuru up against was Ainzul Gon. And keep in mind, I was using the anime versions of both of these characters. But I had made a miscalculation and assumed that Rimuru at the point he is in the series now could do something about any form of time-stopping magic. But at the point he is now, he can't really do that in the anime. But at the end of the series, time-stopping magic wouldn't even be anything near a threat to him. And in part 2, I had put him up against Yogiri Takuto. And let's just say, I've never hated a more mid character this much in my entire life. He was literally the most broken being in existence for no reason whatsoever. But at this point, even Yogiri himself would struggle to come anywhere near Rimuru. And it's at this point where we can say Rimuru became one of the most powerful anime characters we've ever seen. At this point, Rimuru was no longer a slime. Nor was he the newbie Demon Lord. He had evolved far past anything like that. Not even a true dragon, but the Chaos Creator, Void God, and the Supreme Deity. But yeah, that's all I've got for you today. Don't forget to like and subscribe, follow me on Twitter, leave a like, and I'll see you guys next week.